For most of his life, Jack Nicholson believed he knew exactly who he was. Then, at the peak of his Hollywood career, he discovered that everything he believed about his family was a lie. The woman he had always called his sister was actually his biological mother. The people he loved as his parents were really his grandparents. Worse still, by the time the truth surfaced, the two women who could have explained everything had already passed away. It was the kind of revelation that could break a person's identity forever. Yet somehow, Jack Nicholson turned that hidden pain into one of the most extraordinary careers Hollywood has ever seen. But the greatest mystery of his life didn't begin in a mansion or on a movie set. It began in a quiet town in New Jersey. Growing up in Neptune City, Jack never imagined he would become one of the most recognizable faces in cinema. His childhood seemed ordinary. His grandparents raised him with love, and the woman he believed was his older sister was always close by. No one ever hinted that the family's biggest secret was hiding in plain sight. As a teenager, Jack wasn't obsessed with becoming famous. He was simply fascinated by movies. After graduating from high school, he packed his belongings and headed to California, hoping to find a place in the entertainment industry. It wasn't glamorous. He worked behind the scenes at MGM Studios, running errands and learning how Hollywood operated from the ground up. Someone noticed his confidence and suggested he try acting. Jack accepted the challenge, but Hollywood didn't exactly welcome him for years. Casting directors couldn't figure him out. He didn't have the polished appearance of the leading men audiences were used to seeing. His crooked smile, sharp eyebrows, and unpredictable energy made him different. Instead of becoming an advantage, those qualities often worked against him. The rejection lasted nearly a decade. Most people would have given up. Jack Nicholson refused to survive. He accepted tiny roles in low-budget films. He even began writing screenplays, determined to stay close to the industry even if success never arrived. Every disappointment became another lesson. Every failure made him tougher. Without realizing it, he was preparing for the role that would change everything. In 1969, a small independent film called Easy Rider arrived in theaters. Jack wasn't the leading man. He didn't need to be, playing the eccentric lawyer George Hanson. Nicholson stole nearly every scene he appeared in. His performance felt completely natural, funny, unpredictable, and deeply human. Critics immediately noticed what Hollywood had overlooked for years, almost overnight. The struggling actor received his first Academy Award nomination. Finally, the industry saw what had been hiding in plain sight. Success came quickly. But Jack never chased perfection. He chased complicated characters, men who laughed while hiding, pain, men who challenged authority, men who couldn't be easily understood. That choice transformed him into one of the greatest actors of his generation. His unforgettable performance in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest earned him his first Academy Award for Best Actor. Then came Chinatown, a masterpiece still considered one of the greatest films ever made. A few years later, audiences watched him slowly descend into madness as Jack Torrance in The Shining, delivering one of the most iconic performances in horror history. He wasn't simply acting, he was creating characters people would never forget. Then came another surprise. In 1989, Nicholson accepted the role of the Joker in Tim Burton's Batman. At the time, many believed comic book movies couldn't attract serious actors. Jack proved them wrong. His terrifying, hilarious, and completely unpredictable Joker became one of cinema's greatest villains, inspiring generations of actors who would later step into the role. By then, Jack Nicholson had become more than a movie star. He had become a Hollywood legend. 3 Academy Awards, 12 Oscar nominations, decades of unforgettable performances. Yet behind the cameras, one question still lingered. Who was Jack Nicholson really? In 1974, while researching a cover story, reporters from Time magazine uncovered official records revealing the truth about his birth. They informed Nicholson that June Nicholson, the woman he believed was his sister, had actually been his mother. she had become pregnant as a teenager in an era when such news carried enormous social stigma. To protect both mother and child, Jack's grandparents raised him as their own son, asking the family to keep the secret forever. By the time Jack learned the truth, both women had already died. There would be no conversation. No explanation. No chance to ask why. Many expected him to react with anger. Instead, he responded with remarkable compassion. He later acknowledged that his family had done what they believed was best under difficult circumstances. Rather than allowing bitterness to define him, he chose gratitude for the love they had given him. Even if it came wrapped in deception, that quiet strength became one of the least understood parts of his life. As the years passed, Nicholson remained one of Hollywood's biggest names, but he gradually became more selective about the projects he accepted. While younger stars chased constant attention, Jack seemed increasingly comfortable stepping away from the spotlight. His final feature film, How Do You Know?, was released in 2010. Then, he simply disappeared. There was no dramatic farewell. No retirement speech. No announcement promising one last movie. He quietly walked away from the career that had defined generations. Rumors quickly spread. Some suggested health concerns. Others believed he had simply decided he had nothing left to prove. Nicholson himself offered very few explanations, choosing privacy over publicity just as he always had. Today, his absence has only deepened the mystery surrounding him. His films continue to inspire actors around the world. New generations still discover his unforgettable performances, while longtime fans continue to celebrate the fearless artist who never tried to fit Hollywood's expectations. Perhaps that's why Jack Nicholson remains such a fascinating figure, not because he won awards, not because he became one of the greatest actors in history, but because behind every unforgettable character was a man searching for his own identity, a man who transformed rejection into determination. Pain into unforgettable performances, and a lifetime of unanswered questions into a legacy that will never be forgotten.